Review code provided by Thunderful Games. I'm Jared.
I'm Marcus.
Level with us. Welcome to Level With Us, the show where we have a cozy video game discussion every week. This week we are spotlighting a new indie title, well I say new, but it came out a month or two ago, called Wavetale. This is a delightful little platformer indie game where you play as Sigrid, a girl who meets a mysterious underwater entity that allows her to walk on water because her feet walk on its feet, and it's really cool imagery. And I really liked this game, so I'm excited to hear what you think, Marcus.
That's a good way of summing it up. It definitely is an action platformer focused on movement. I'm always interested to see what abilities games allow you to use to traverse the world. And in this one, you can, as you said, walk on water. You can kind of surf on water, and you're kind of dashing, and there are a lot of options for ways to move, including a grappling hook or like kind of a hover jump type thing. And I feel like that's the immediate appeal of the game, is when you first realize like, oh, you get to move fast and like go places. Yeah,
like watch a trailer and you'll immediately get if you like this game. I think it's all about that flow. They're selling it by the I think there's more than one platformer these days that's really trying to show like, whoa, look how cool this like new parkour system is, or look at this really cool movement or traversal. And this really has it going for it in that department. I never got tired of surfing up waves. There's like, if you're able to jump at the crest of a wave, then you'll get a free dive, which lets you dive and crest up again, and you're just going at Mach speed. It feels awesome.
Yeah, and they're definitely leaning into it too, because in an early area, I noticed, like it has these Sonic-esque ramps and like speed boost. Well, I'm not sure if they're speed boost, but like checkpoints to hit, and basically water slides just around. So right. they're definitely kind of banking on the appeal of the game being those components.
Sonic is a good point of comparison because we're playing Sonic Frontiers right now, which we'll be talking about in an upcoming episode. But and I was playing that concurrently with this one, and I was definitely getting the same kind of parallels. This one's more, like I said, about the flow, more about really smoothly gliding and jumping around. There is a little bit of combat. It's very simple. You just kind of whack enemies, and it's a little herky-jerky. Like, I played on the PS5, you played on the Switch, but even on the PS5, it wasn't, like, the combat itself didn't feel as smooth as I would have liked it to.
Yeah.
But, that being said, like, I think this game, again, is really focused on the movement, and it's also a very short game.
Have you beat it?
It's only a few hours long. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it took like 4 or 5 hours total.
Gotcha. And I mean, do you have any late game thoughts? Because I did not finish this game. So,
there is a story revelation right at the end that I thought made the rest of the game way better.
Okay.
Like I thought the story was already very good. In fact, touching on that, I really like the presentation overall. Like the art is pretty, the environments are very pretty, but so is the voice acting and the music. Like, it's all very, very well done. A special shout out, especially to Mackenzie Atwood. I thought she did fantastic in her role as the main character. And also Lila Berzins, who does her grandmother Doris, who kind of chats in your radio the whole game. I thought both of them sounded fantastic and they had great chemistry. But yeah, and the music too. Can I ask your opinion on that? As the more musical one between the two of us?
It's sort of become a thing that I'm the music-y one. I don't know how strong that holds up, but I'll take it. The music was really delightful. There's got to be a genre for like sleepy video game music. Maybe that's what it's called, honestly. You can probably find Spotify playlists that are just called sleepy video game soundtracks.
But it's not really lo-fi. I mean, I guess that's not the same, but
No, it's orchestral, it's instrumental, but it's working with a really soft palette, and at least in the early sounds and songs that I heard. But yeah, no,
absolutely,
it stuck out to me as well. I felt like it was pretty cohesive in its vibe.
Yeah, something about those really breathy wind instruments, like really airy brass that plays. I've listened to it at work quite a few times, like the full soundtrack all the way through.
Oh, nice.
Just because of how in love with it I am. But yeah, so there's a lot going for this game. And speaking of that, this sounds like a good time to jump into star pieces. This is where we highlight a cool little detail or something we generally liked about the game. Let's have you go first.
Honestly, we've kind of got the bases covered. I had pretty generic star piece and a pretty... I think I can make my quick jab a little less generic, but I was just going to say, sound design in the form of voice acting and music together was good. I wish I had more to say about that, though. No,
yeah, totally. I guess I've already gushed a bunch. I think that the art, like you said, is very good, and I guess I'll make two little star pieces here. One of them is that the notebook, you collect sparks throughout the game. There's these little flying jellyfish, and that's pretty much all you collect. But every now and then you'll find floating journal entries, and they fill out your journal with like sketches that Sigurd draws. And there's like little taped in newspaper clippings and just kind of things she'll stick in there like a scrapbook. And seeing those fill out, it was like way more rewarding to me than like audio log number 7 in Horizon Zero Dawn, right?
Sure,
or Halo.
Sure.
Just like, it was like way cooler to have this. Oh, I unlock more art to look at. And it has little introspective character things because she's writing in her journal. So really liked that. And then in relation to the voice acting, I don't know how you felt about this, but I really liked their approach to mouth movements. It's kind of a stop motion-y, that the lips don't match the voice acting. They just kind of flash and fluctuate on their faces. It's a very interesting stylistic choice that I think works really well, especially since this game was probably released in other languages, where it's like, oh, okay, I don't have to focus on whether the mouth movement is in line with the words being spoken. Does that make sense?
Yeah, although I'm more on a quick jabby side of that. I just personally, after you having explained that, I probably can go back to the game and be like, oh, I see that. No, that's a smart choice. But while playing it, I was like, there isn't really face animation.
Is this related to your quick jab?
This is basically my quick jab.
Okay, hang on. Let's go into quick jabs.
And jab.
This is where we talk about something we didn't like. And so you didn't like the mouth movements? The
so
way they did
your star piece is my quick jab.
Well, that's funny because your star piece is my quick jab, and I'll explain why.
Well, that's funny because your face is my... Never mind.
Your face is my face. We do come from the same parents, so yes, our faces are very similar.
Ah, boy. Well, it's not like a strong, opinion. I don't think they did something wrong. I just didn't really vibe with it because it's a 2D texture on a 3D model.
Yeah.
And I guess if you think of it like a stylistic choice, that makes it feel better. But enough of that. What's your quick jab?
Okay, sure. And I wasn't lying actually when I said your star piece was my quick jab, because as much as I loved the music and voice acting, I thought the sound design, or specifically the sound mixing, was really subpar. Just there were so many times where I would hit an enemy and didn't hear a sound effect, and I'm like, that doesn't feel right. Or it was very, very quiet, or the voices were really quiet. And there are a couple audio sliders which I tried to mess with in the settings. It didn't really solve my issue. There were times when the music cut out too early. So some of this is like bugs, but some of it was just, I think they could have mixed it better. I think they could have brought the voices and sound effects more center in regards to the music and stuff. So I don't know. That's the one thing about this game that kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Right. Well, as a professional audio engineer,
yes.
I think you're qualified to qualified to have those opinions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be harsher about that. It could be that I played on TV. Maybe I should have, played with headphones or something. But I don't know. It wasn't really working for me. But that's okay because the rest of the game is really good. And that brings us to our final and most popular segment, Who's the Fake Fan? This is where Marcus and I challenge each other with nerdy trivia questions about the game that we played, or maybe adjacent to the game that we played.
Somewhat, maybe a little bit related to.
Yes, mine is related to the game. I was just referring to the time I asked you about alligators and crocodiles, and that didn't really have much to do with the, the game.
Hey,
we were
that was
playing.
still fun.
Yeah.
It made it feel like we were, we do our own thing here on the podcast.
Right. All right. So I really like all the character names in this game. And we're going to go a little easier, do a classic multiple choice question for you.
Oh, thank you. Bless you.
In the journal entries, Sigrid draws a little sketch of each character she meets and a little description and their name. And there are some great names in this game that have a good, I don't know if rustic is the right word, but I feel like they have like a rustic quality, right? They're a little more old-fashioned, but not like super old-fashioned. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I want to read them to you. I'm going to read 4 to you. One of these is not like the others, and I just made it up and added it to the list. So one of these is not a character in the game. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Here are your options. Daphne, Rebecca, Trevold, or Edith?
I'm wondering if you grabbed Edith from What Remains of Edith Finch, but give them to me one more time.
Sure. Daphne, Rebecca, Trevold, and Edith.
The problem is these mind games are always mind games instead of logic games. And that
I want to hear your reasoning.
Well, would Jared... Trevold obviously does not sound like something Jared would make up, which does that mean it's something that Jared would make up? Maybe Jared made the weirdest name just to make it more difficult to guess, because the other names are fairly standard. So what if Jared made Trevold just to be like, you idiot, you thought that was in the game?
This is part of the fun. I think the mind games is the reason people like Who's the Fake Fan. So please continue.
People love the sound of Marcus squirming under the weight of ignorance.
Or if they don't, I do, so it's fine.
It's really just about Jared's enjoyment here.
It is. That's why I'm doing this podcast.
I'm gonna guess that there is no Rebecca.
I'm afraid that's incorrect. The correct answer is Daphne. Although there is someone named Daphne that worked on the game. I do not believe there is a character named Daphne. So
you do not believe? What if there's an unnamed character and it's known internally as Daphne?
I mean, that could be the case. People can correct me if I'm wrong. Write to us at levelwithuspodcast@gmail.com and let me know if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure there is not, though. So, well done. Oh, wait, no, well done. Good, no, bad job.
Not well done.
Bad job.
Incorrect.
Your turn. Good try,
Jared,
is what I meant to say.
You take that participation trophy back. I don't want it. I don't need your pity.
You aced my Name That Tune, so I had to get back at you somehow.
Aced is a strong... But
you did great.
Anyway.
You did so good. One of our listeners actually reached out to me and said that, man, Marcus did an amazing job. I played most of those games, and I knew them instantly. It was interesting to hear him logic his way in, even though he had never played them before. And I agreed.
Right. Well, we do have a history. I remember us on a family road trip, and either you or I was playing a song, and it was like, all right, this is a video game. It's a game I haven't played. It's an indie game. And someone else in the car was like, how do you have a department in your brain for games I have not played that are indie games?
Right.
How do you have space for that? My question for you, it's a layup, I'll be honest. We have here Wavetale. Can you name at least 3 other games that also have tail in the name?
Oh, yikes. Does it have to be T-A-L-E? Can it be T-A-I-L?
I bet you could do 3 with T-A-L-E.
Okay. All right. Tail. Well, we have a Telltale game, which is the subtitle of 3 or 4 different titles. So The Walking Dead.
I'll count that as one.
The Walking Dead, Wolf
one.
Among Us. There's a Batman one.
This feels like a technicality.
Okay, fine. I'm pretty sure that's the subtitle, but yeah, that's fine. That's one. I I was thinking Bug Fables for a second, but that's not Tale. That's Fables. Isn't a Squire's Tale coming out soon? No, it's called The Plucky Squire. Never mind. I got that wrong. Mind is blank. Oh, A Plague Tale Requiem.
Good job.
And then, of course, A Plague Tale
that game.
Innocence, the previous. Or is that still just one?
If you feel good about that.
That's my
Sure.
safety net. I have to have a third one.
Come on, man.
Gosh. I'm sure there's people screaming at their
No,
cars or their headphones
I don't
right now,
think
being like,
anyone's
"Come on."
that invested.
Wait, didn't we cover on the show? Wasn't there another one? Hang on. What's it called? Blossom Tales.
Correct.
Blossom Tales. Yay! I got
Good
it.
job.
I'm not a fake
I
fan.
would have also accepted Undertale.
Oh, of course.
For a second, I thought that there was a game called Cave Tale that is Cave Story.
Uh-huh.
And then I think that there's a game called The Bard's Tale.
That sounds right.
As well. So, anyway, or Tales of Arise.
Oh, Tales of Symphonia, Chris Tales.
I also would have accepted DuckTales.
Oh, of course. Who could forget?
You squeaked it out. I say that's a win. Good job, Jared.
Well, thank you very much. But before we wrap up the show, I believe you have a rabbit hole for us.
Yeah, it's one of the self-indulgent types.
Yeah, please.
It's one of the plug my stuff types.
I'm all about that.
So Jared and I couldn't remember if I've plugged this before, but I have another podcast called Aurelius Whitlock's Murder Museum, which someone else once gave me a much better title, which I haven't switched over to, but they said Mr. Wiggles Fun Time Place or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a murder mystery podcast where my friend Nathan and I write murder mysteries, and then one of us solves the mystery as a detective. It's kind of like playing through a murder mystery novel. And we're kind of just getting started. We have 2 cases out, and I'm releasing our third mystery in parts right now. But, I think if you hear me saying this and you're like, I think that might be my vibe, then it probably is, and you should check it out.
Can you kind of explain how the system works? It's just 2 of you, but it's role-playing, kind of?
Yeah. It's kind of in the same vein as like actual play podcasts. That's what you call like D&D podcasts. But there are no dice or anything. It's just improv storytelling.
Where one of you is the detective and the other is...
everything else.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the other person is the crime scene, witnesses, dead person.
The curator
all the above.
of the mystery, so to speak.
Right, yes. Because we have a museum theme going on, so they are the curator of murder.
Very cool. And can you maybe give us a little taste of what kinds of mysteries you solve on the podcast currently or in future episodes? Maybe a few little premises.
Sure, I'll give the first 3 mystery premises. The first mystery is 5 people get onto a ski gondola, and at the end, at the bottom of the mountain, only 4 get off. And the question is, where did the last person go? The second mystery is a murder at a 10-year high school reunion, and the principal is murdered.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then the third one is a little atypical. The setting is a 4th grade classroom, and it is the unfortunate demise of the class pet, a hamster.
No! That one might be a little too much for me. I might skip that episode and listen to the ones after that.
Yeah, maybe skip to one of the ones that have actual children dying. That one might be a little too intense.
Well, I can certainly endorse Aurelius Whitlock's Murder Museum, and we will, of course...
Mr. Wiggles' Big Adventure.
Yes, we will, of course, place a link in the description of this podcast. By the way, for those of you who are listeners and don't look at the description, I always put timestamps in. So if you are like me and sometimes are like, I just want to skip to the good stuff, where's Fake Fan? Then you can go do that in the timestamps. You can skip right ahead. I won't be offended. I won't know. So
ladies
go
and
there
gentlemen,
for those.
We really did just give you the powerful tool to skip over our dialogue. Like you won't get that anywhere else, folks. That's some authenticity right there.
Precisely. And of course, we'll include a link to Marcus's podcast, as well as our contact information. Speaking of which, if any of you have something you want to say on the show, specifically about maybe a game you've played recently, and you want to share a star piece of your own, You can do that by writing into levelwithuspodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to have a segment where we read your comments on the show, so please share your thoughts. We'd love to hear it. But until next time, I'm Jared.
I'm Marcus.
And we'll level with you then.